Your charger killed that battery, not the salt. The number is 13.3 volts. It comes straight out of Lifeline's own technical manual, and that's number 9 on this list. Most onboard chargers never get there. They settle near 12.7, call it a float, and quietly starve the plates for 4 straight seasons. The average marine battery gets replaced every 3 to 5 years, but a quality-absorbed glass mat battery is rated well past that, and lithium iron phosphate is rated for thousands of cycles. So the gap isn't the battery you bought. It's 9 things sitting between you and a decade of service, and 6 of them are happening in your bilge right now. The last 3 are the ones I'd put my own money on. So, back to number 9. Lifeline specifies 14.3 volts absorption and 13.3 volts float at 77 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not marketing copy. That's the manufacturer handing you the operating window. A charger that stops below it never converts the sulfate back off the plates. The crystals harden. Capacity walks away a little at a time. By season 3, the battery reads fine at rest, but it collapses under load. That isn't a defect. That's arithmetic. Number 8 is heat, and it explains why 2 identical batteries die years apart. Lead acid chemistry follows a rough rule. Every 18 degrees Fahrenheit above 77 roughly halves service life. A bilge in Florida in August is not a laboratory at 77 degrees. So the guy in Tampa buying a battery every 3 years isn't buying junk. He's cooking good hardware. And yes, that means a cool, ventilated mounting spot is worth more than a premium label. I know how that sounds. But you can't buy your way out of physics. Number 7. Your outboard alternator is not a battery charger. It holds one fixed voltage, it has no real absorption stage, and it can't finish a battery or float it properly. Rod Collins, whose Marine How to Electrical writing half the pros quote, has said this for years. Run alternator only all season, and you sit in a permanent partial state of charge. That's the sulfation from number 9, arriving by a different road. And if you've already gone lithium, it gets sharper. Lithium's internal resistance is so low that it will keep accepting current until a stock alternator overheats itself. Collins puts it plainly. Stock alternators can and do burn themselves up charging these packs. The fix is a DC to DC charger, like the Victron Orion XS at 50 amps. Leave the raw alternator on the lead-acid start battery. One thing this video can't fix. Voltage drop isn't only a charger problem. Corroded terminals do it too, and a shop bills a couple $100 to find it. Mine sat green under the boot. That repairs in the $50 Fix Bible, part numbers included. $19.99 at hullhonest.com. No sponsors here. Today's answer was free either way. Codes on screen. Number 6 is the label, and this one costs people money at the counter. Marine cranking amps are measured at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold cranking amps are measured at 0. Same battery, 2 tests, but the Marine number always looks bigger. Reserve capacity and amp hours are what actually matter for deep cycle work. Group 31 isn't a capacity either. It's a box size. 2 Group 31 batteries can sit 30 amp hours apart, and dual purpose isn't a scam, it's a physical compromise. Medium thickness plates. Competent at cranking, competent at cycling, excellent at neither. Pause here, because this is where the shelf stops making sense. Count the brands in a battery aisle and you'll find dozens. But count the factories, and you won't. East Penn Manufacturing, in Lyon Station, Pennsylvania, builds Duracell Automotive and Marine under an exclusive deal. Enersys builds both Odyssey and Northstar. Lifeline is built by Concord Battery in West Covina, California. Remember Concord. It comes back. Several store brands are reported to be multi-sourced now across different plants. So, read the case code, not a chart from a decade ago. And one more, because dates matter on this channel. Stryten Energy announced a deal to buy Trojan on the 13th of July 2026. It's expected to close this quarter. It hasn't closed yet. Trojan today is still owned by KPS Capital Partners. If you've made it this far, subscribe. We do this every week, and the shortcuts don't get fewer. Number 5 is the word hiding inside every warranty. Free replacement and prorated are not the same product. Lifeline's 5-year coverage is 1 year of free replacement, then 4 years prorated. Prorated means a declining credit toward retail. By year 4, it's often worth less than the drive to the store. Odyssey's marine warranty runs a year shorter than its standard coverage. That's in their own documentation, not mine. So when someone tells you they bought a 10-year battery, the only question worth asking is how many of those years are free. Number 4 ruins more lithium packs than anything else, and almost nobody gets it right. You must not charge lithium iron phosphate below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 0 Celsius. Charging cold plates metallic lithium onto the anode. That damage is permanent, and no amount of cycling brings it back. But here's where it gets misread. Discharging in the cold is fine, down to roughly -4 Fahrenheit, -20 Celsius. And cold storage is fine too. A pack sitting in an unheated garage all winter is not in danger, but it's in danger the second something tries to charge it while frozen. A solar panel on a bright February afternoon will do exactly that. Good packs carry a low-temperature charge cutoff in the battery management system. Battleborn, Reliant, Epoch, and Lithium all publish one. Some go further and add internal heaters. So, store lithium near half charge and physically disconnect it. Store lead acid full on a smart maintainer. Those are opposite instructions, and swapping them kills one of them every winter. If you've lost a pack that way, say so in the comments. That's the hard half. The point was never to make you paranoid about a plastic box with 2 posts. Every failure on that list is something you control. And yes, I'm aware I just spent 6 minutes saying the battery mostly isn't the problem. So here's the other half. 3 picks, and you get the flaw before the verdict. Number 3. The Lifeline GPL31T. It's 105 amp hours, built by Concord in West Covina. That's the name from earlier, on lines that grew out of aerospace work. Self-discharge sits around 2% a month, which is unusually low for lead acid. It runs roughly $290 to $365 as of mid-2026. The honest caveat is the weight. It's 69 pounds, and it only earns the premium if you feed it the right voltage. Pair this with a dumb charger, and you've thrown the difference away. But on a correct charge profile, this is the absorbed glass mat I'd trust to still be working in 7 years. Number 2 is the upgrade, and it's Battleborn's Group 31, the BB10012. 31 pounds against 69. 10-year warranty. Battleborn rates it at 3,000 to 5,000 cycles. It states that roughly 75 to 80% of capacity remains after 3,000 cycles, charged at half C rate or lower. It's assembled in Reno, Nevada. It wants 14.4 to 14.6 volts, 50 amps maximum. Now the caveats, and they're real. It's $799 on sale, $949 at list. And it needs that DC to DC charger if the alternator is in the loop. And Minn Kota's own guidance is to hold a lithium-fed trolling motor near 85% speed. That flat voltage curve can push a motor built for lead acid harder than it expects. Epoch's Pro Series is the alternative, with an 11-year warranty and a self-heater. And Reliant's Insight packs manage regeneration current, so they won't hard cut on you mid-drift. And number 1 isn't a battery at all. It's the charger, because it decides whether everything above lasts 2 seasons or 10. I personally think it's the most underbought item on any boat. You want genuine selectable chemistry profiles. The ProMariner Pro Sport HD, the Noco Gen Pro, Minn Kota's Precision Units, and Victron's Blue Smart Line all offer them. But the label alone won't save you. ProMariner ties approval to a specific model list, so confirm your exact battery is on it. And if you take one thing to the ramp this weekend, take this. Put a meter on the terminals while the charger is running. If it never climbs past 13 volts on an absorbed glass mat battery, you found your problem. It was never the brand on the case. Here's the whole thing in one line. The aisle sells you chemistry, but longevity is bought with voltage, temperature, and storage discipline. You now know the 3 numbers that decide it. 7 years isn't a lucky draw. It's a charge profile that finishes the job, a battery that doesn't live in an oven, and a winter routine matched to the chemistry. Do those 3 things, and the brand argument mostly stops mattering. Drop your longest-running battery in the comments. Brand in years. That list is honestly more useful than mine. Next time, we're pulling apart trolling motor amp draw. And the numbers on the box are not the numbers you get on the water. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so click it. And if you made it to the end, subscribe,